What up, fam? Currently on a hike. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about how to not have your legs feel flat come race day or workout, the concept of muscle tension. Get ready for this. Stay tuned. Alright fam, so how many of you have ever felt flat, lethargic, no pep in your step, no pop when it comes to a regular run, a workout, or a race? Comment down below, because I know how you feel. And in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to avoid that feeling and how to maximize performance come race day, both in an active way and in a passive way. So many of you may be asking, what exactly is muscle tension? Muscle tension is the amount of tension that you have in your muscles that is regulated by your central nervous system. So your brain has to tell your muscles to be able to have a certain amount of tension to be able to withstand the activities that it's doing at that current moment and further down the line. So your muscles always have some sort of tension, and they are different on different days for different reasons. But the more tension your muscles have, the more poppy they will feel. The reason why your legs feel flat when it comes to race day is that either one, you're overtraining, training too hard, doing too hard workouts too soon. You overstimulate your central nervous system, so therefore your brain recruits less muscle fibers with each contraction, so therefore you feel flat. Now, there's a fine line to how tense or how untense muscles should be dependent on the event. So if you're like a 400, 800 meter runner, you probably want to have more tension than if you were, half marathon or marathoner. Now, you can manipulate muscle tension by doing many different factors, both actively and passively. Actively meaning you're doing something, and passively meaning you're applying something that has a passive effect on the muscle tension. The reason why your legs feel flat is because your muscle tension is low. And there are many things that you could have done to have caused muscle tension to decrease. Now, there are some advantages to wanting to have muscle tension to decrease, such as recovery. You don't want to have your muscles tense all the time. So we're going to talk about how to raise muscle tension for a workout and a race, and how to lower muscle tension for recovery purposes. All right, fam, so ways you can increase muscle tension actively. So what you can do is, I'm sure a lot of you guys out there are being coached either, middle school, high school, college, maybe you have a personal coach, or maybe you're just reading workout plans online. But as you notice, there are different types of workouts to the plan, such as threshold, repetitions, strides, long runs, easy runs, recovery runs. And depending on the pace, depending on the surface, etc., we'll talk about that in a little bit, will affect how tense your muscles are. So leading up to race day, to not having your legs feel flat, you want to taper. We'll talk about that more specifically in another video. But a lot of mistake that a lot of people make is that when they get up to the race and they want to taper, especially if you're less experienced or don't have experience with this, comes with time, is that most people are like, I'm going to take it easy this week. I'm not going to do anything fast. I'm going to run soft grass, not kill my legs, not kill myself. And then come race day, I should feel fresh and ready to go. And then race day comes and they feel horrible. They have no pep in their step. They feel lethargic. And that could be due to the fact that, you took it too easy. Muscle tension is too low. Now, come race week, your body can only benefit from a workout about 8 to 10 days from race time. So usually about the 7 to 8 day mark, you should do. Now, there may be other philosophies to this, but like a normal workout, you're focusing on cutting back quantity, not quality. A bigger workout, but as you get closer to the race, the quantity cuts back, but the quality stays the same. So like 7 days out, you could do a light interval session at the pace that you're trying to achieve, and maybe some striders. Maybe about 3 days out, you can do some 200s, maybe 8 200s. And then the day before, you have to keep that, that pep in your step, and you do some strides. 4 to 6 100-meter strides. And so what happens is that when you do it that way, that's going to naturally increase muscle tension. It's going to teach those type A nerve fibers to fire. It's going to recruit more muscle fibers each contraction. I know I sound like a broken record with each of these how to, do better videos when I talk about muscle fibers, but in a gist, that's pretty much what it is. The active action of being able to do those activities will naturally increase muscle tension so that you feel ready to go on race day. Now, in terms of manipulating it so that you have recovery, usually when you have a hard race and whatnot, your body will naturally go into a state of decreased tension, which is why it's very hard. People do it all the time to run two events 2 days apart versus, exactly on the same day. Now, there are passive ways to increase muscle tension. We just talked about the active ways, the strides, the workouts. We'll talk about acute active ways too when it comes to race time, such as frog jumps, strides beforehand, glute activation exercises right before your race. I have a link up in the cards to some of those videos that I have already made. But to acutely increase muscle tension passively, you could take an ice bath the night before. You can also make sure that you're adequately hydrated. Now, there may be passive things you guys are doing at home because, like an old wives' tale, such as, going out in the rain, you're gonna get sick. Not true. There's no correlation of going out into the wet cold that you will come back with a cold. The concept of static stretching, icing, are those tales that you've been taught for it so long growing up that it's considered hardwired in your brain that it's the right thing to do. Now, contrary to popular belief, there are some things that you shouldn't do that may sound like you should do when it comes to race day or race week. One of them would be avoiding ways that would lower muscle tension. So, for example, you don't want to get a massage the day before, 2 days before, 3 days before, maybe 4 days before will be fine because that lowers muscle tension. You don't want to static stretch the day before because that also lowers muscle tension. You can do that after your race. You don't want to foam roll either because that also lowers muscle tension, the same concept of massage. So, or even taking a hot bath or a hot shower, you don't want to do that either. So my routine when it comes to getting ready for a race, the things I just stated prior, I avoid come race week. Now, on race day itself, there are acute things you can do to raise muscle tension. If I were to take a shower before a race, I would actually focus on taking more of a cold shower or finishing off with cold water just to raise muscle tension somewhat. A lot of the stuff that I'm stating right now, I don't know if there is a clinical significance on like the effect of performance when you do have decrease in muscle tension, and whether it's even warranted to, blow all this stuff out the window and just keep doing what you're doing. But anecdotally, how I feel and talking to other athletes and patients, this is the way to increase muscle tension. This is how I avoided having my legs not feel flat come race day and getting ready to go. Same concept comes to workouts. The day before a workout, I do strides. That's getting your body ready. I do not static stretch. I do not foam roll. Race time, I just do a couple striders, glute activation exercises, dynamic drills. Contract, relax is what you want. Hop, skips, jumps, light pylos. You can even lift lightly 2 days before to raise muscle tension. Remember, within the week leading up to your race, there's nothing really much you can do to maximize changes in adaptation. So the point is to just, focus on increasing performance come race day, because there's not really much you can do to get faster. You guys may have seen in some of my videos too, I do that frog jump before my time trials or my races, and I do that on purpose because it acutely raises muscle tension. I do about 3 of them before I race. Now think of muscle tension like a spring, right? If you have a coil spring that's stiff, but not too stiff, you're gonna get a lot more energy return when it compresses, versus if it was really stiff, it's not gonna bounce back as much. Same concept in muscle. Or if the spring is, wider or not as stiff or bigger, when you, compress like a slinky, the energy return isn't as great as if it were stiffer. So there's a fine line of how stiff you want muscle tension to be. So I know we talked about the positives of high muscle tension, but we haven't talked about, with the benefits of having lower muscle tension, and that's the body's normal response when it comes to recovery. Now, ways you can lower tension actively would be running on soft surfaces. Oh yeah, by the way, with active tension increasing up to a race and warming up, you would want to run on the road, because the road gives you the most bang for your buck in terms of pop in your step versus running on grass or a cross-country course. So if you can run on a road for a warm-up, go for it. Same thing with the day before. Don't think that if you run on grass, the day before, the morning of, especially if you're trying to, do a shakeout, it will benefit you, probably be more counterproductive. So running on soft surfaces will lower muscle tension. Taking a hot bath, lower muscle tension. Shower, massage, foam rolling, static stretching. There's nothing out there that states that static stretching helps with muscle recovery and injury prevention. The only thing that it helps for is flexibility. When you can look at a sprinter, you never want to stretch a sprinter's hamstrings. That's where their torque is, their power, that coil when they, pull through that stride. If you lengthen that, that's going to lower tension and take away, the benefit. Going back to talking about like different events with different tension, if you look at sprinters, obviously probably need the most tension, and they do seem the most tense, or probably the most stiff, but that makes them the most economical compared to their distance runner counterpart. which will probably be considered more efficient than your sprinter over a longer period of time. So yeah, and that's the gist of increasing your performance by having you have more pep in your step come race day or workout. Guys, comment down below if you have any questions or know anything else about the fact. In a nutshell, you want to raise muscle tension leading up to a race: strides, frog jumps, glute activation, cold showers, ice baths, light pylos, dynamic stretches are all things that can raise muscle tension. Things that lower muscle tension: running on soft surfaces, running really easy, running slow, hot showers, massages, foam rolling, static stretching are things you want to avoid leading up to a race, but are things that you can do, after your workout or after your event. So yeah, like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell when I post my next video. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace. Guys, I'm also currently injured, so there probably won't be a Workout Tuesday video. Just trying to get back into things. Felt a pop in my foot last workout, and it's been bugging me since. So we're just gonna take it easy and just going on this hike as my form of easy cross training before I start putting in more time, on the roads and stuff. Currently going underneath the waterfall.